there, friends. Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter, Billy.
Hi.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. Welcome back, everyone. We took a bit of a break so we could have some fun with friends and family over the holidays. I hope everybody had a great holiday. And we thought that we would get in one more video before the year ends. So for our New Year's Eve video, we're going to do our current top five party games. As with any good YouTube list, I have a couple of honorable mentions because one is out of print, which means I don't want to recommend a game and say, this is one of our favorite games if it's not in print, even though Billy might.
Well, you didn't tell me it was out of print.
Well, they should have looked it up. And one I've only played once, but when I ranked it, it came in at number 3. So it could be recency bias. I didn't want to keep it up on the list with having only one play, but I promise that it's a good game. The first honorable mention is the one that's out of print. And that's Wise and Otherwise. And this is one of our favorites from just a long time ago. This game is pretty well loved. All the corners are dinged up. All the cards are kind of scuffed and bent. I don't know what year this came out in. I'll put it down below somewhere. But unfortunately, when I went to look this up, you just can't get a copy of this. And this is one of those games that came out during the time of like Apples to Apples and those kinds of games where people around the table are suggesting an answer, and whoever's turn it is choosing from those answers. But this one, you get the beginning of a proverb. For example, there's an old Egyptian saying, an egg cannot break, and then everyone around the table writes down what they think the end of that proverb might be to hilarious effect, and the person who's reading it writes down the real answer. You put those answers out, you vote on which one's the best answer, and you get points for, who got the right one and who got the most votes. It's the typical kind of game from that time period, but the answers that people come up with to the ends of these proverbs are amazing. And if you're even the tiniest bit creative, people will vote for your answer.
I win a lot.
Billy wins a lot. And the real answers are absolutely bonkers. Nobody knows why that would be an actual saying. So if you ever see a copy secondhand or you come across it, it's a lot of fun. We've had more laughs than we can count playing this game. But I just didn't want to put it on the list because it's out of print. But again, I would recommend this one, and it would have made the top 5 list. And I think it might be on Billy's top 5 list. No spoilers. But Wise and Otherwise.
I think some people weren't informed that some games were out of print until 5 minutes before filming.
Some people should have done their homework. The other one that we put on the honorable mention list, or I put on the honorable mention list, is one that I only got to play one time. And we played it at PAX Unplugged with some friends there, Jamie and Jeff, and I think Jazz might have played with us. I'm not sure. And some people from the server. It is Doodle Dash by Chili Fox Games, and we were lucky enough to snag a copy of this online. It is very similar to another game on my list, so I won't spoil that too much, but basically it's a race to draw a picture as fast as you can. The person whose turn it is will hold up a card that they can't see, choose a number, there's words on the back, and you're going to give them clues so that they can guess that mystery word. But this time it's a race. And the first person that finishes gets to grab the token from the middle of the table. The next person to finish drawing picks up a 6-sided die and starts rolling as fast as they can until a stop sign comes up on the die. And at that point, everyone has to put down their pen, no matter where they are in their drawing. And usually it's not a good spot. First person who finished gets a chance to show their clue to the guesser. If they get it, they both get a point. If not, that second person who was rolling the die, they get a chance to use their clue. And if they get it, then they both get a point. And if that fails, the guesser gets to see everyone else's clues and try to figure it out. It's a really fun game where you do not have to be a good artist. You just have to be quick and know just how much of the clue to give away. Because If they don't use your clue, then you're giving them help anyway. So you just have to be really right to the point and do this. For me, I think this one's going to go screaming up the list, but we only played it once. So I didn't really want to put it on there without giving it a kind of fair shake at an actual gathering. This one's coming out soon. It's still a little hard to get a hold of here, but you can find it online if you look hard enough, because I have it. And I highly recommend this one. It's a lot of fun. Tons of laughing. Okay, are you ready? You get to go first with number 5, okay? Okay, here we go. Number 5.
My number 5 is MonsDRAWsity.
Number 5?
Number 5.
That is incorrect. Okay.
I think the only reason I haven't ranked it higher is because I have some slight difficulties with playing. OCD-related difficulties.
Oh.
And I think if it weren't for that, it would be much higher on my list. But that's no fault of the game.
Yeah, well, this one's gonna make an appearance later, but we've played a lot of this game, right? Even with people who don't like games. Mm-hmm. People have said, did you bring the monster game? Or can we play that now? So this one's just been the most well-received party game that we have played in a long time. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you will hear more about this game in a little while. We'll put this game over here. Right, my number 5 is an older game as well. And that is Wits and Wagers, which we have the Vegas version, but it doesn't really matter what version you have. I don't by any means think this is the best party game in the whole world. I don't. What I do think is a lot of people that we play party games with really, really like this one, which means we have more fun with it than we have with other ones. I also think that if you have people in your group who don't like to be put on the spot, to be the single person that has to make a guess, or the single person that has to describe a monster or draw a picture, if they don't like being put on the spot, this party game takes that away, because everybody makes a guess, and then everybody makes a wager, and then it doesn't really matter if you're wrong if you can guess who was right. So I think this is a great game to avoid that kind of pressure. Some people just don't do well being put on the spot.
Can I tell you something?
What? Is it upside down?
Don't look so dejected. It was part of the video.
Okay, what?
What's the matter with you?
You're scared. Okay, what?
That's actually my number 11.
It's your number 11?
I only had 11 games on my list.
You dislike this game.
I don't hate it, but I liked all the others more. I think there wasn't enough pressure and enough spotlight for me in this game.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. Like I said, I kind of chose my games based on both the games that I liked the most and the games that I was able to have the most fun with various groups of people. And so that's for fair. Some people I play with who just won't play a game.
Like Grandma loved this one.
Grandma loves this game, right? And I think like Grampy would love this game too, right? I
Definitely.
think for some people who just maybe aren't comfortable playing games or just really don't like focus being on them, this is a really great party game that lets everybody have fun and laugh at silly answers without anybody feeling like it was their silly answer. And we're not laughing at anyone. We're just kind of laughing at the silliness of it. So
I like laughing at people.
I know, but you were mean. So that was my number 5.
My number 4 is A Fake Artist Goes to New York.
Ta-da!
How would you describe it?
It's so deep.
What's a short way to describe it?
It is a short game.
You stink. There's several people, each drawing the same picture, one line at a time. Only one of them doesn't know what the goal of the picture is. One of them has to fake it. By the end of the game, every player has to have a guess as to who is the fake and who is the fake. There was no and. It was just
who's the fake artist, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be drawing well enough that no one knows what it is.
But sometimes that leads to problems with should we talk about that?
We can talk about that. He's not gonna what?
Well, you tell the story.
So The trick to this game is that if you're one of the people who knows what the clue is, not the person who's the fake artist, then you have to draw a line that's good enough that the other real artists know that you know, but not so good that the fake artist can guess what you're supposed to be drawing. We had a little bit of trouble explaining this to my husband. Who decided that the point of the game was to make sure the fake artist did not know what the word was. So just random lines and doodles along the outside that had nothing to do with the clue. Keep in mind that my husband is a professional artist. So completely capable of drawing a picture. But it's one of the reasons I love this game is that, again, it just doesn't matter if you can draw or not. Because all you have to be able to do is read the other people to know if they figured out what you've drawn. Now, if the fake artist figures it out, then they get the points because you weren't so good at hiding your clues.
But obviously, we all thought he was the fake artist, and he was very confused.
Every time we thought he was a fake artist. But it's a lot of fun. He did, by the way, finally figure that out. So we can play more often now. It says 5 to 10. We have played it at 4 and haven't had any problem. I mean, it's
fine.
Better with more people, but it works just fine. You can play with
4 is fine.
Also, it's so tiny that you can take it anywhere, and this becomes kind of the camping game because you can just throw it in a bag. So that was your number 4, fake artist.
Number 4.
Put that over here. My number 4 is monikers, and I happen to have the serious nonsense, the shut up and sit down version here, but we do have the other version as well. I love monikers. I think that the inside jokes that come by the time you get to the 3rd round of this game have everybody laughing so hard they can barely guess the clues. So it's kind of like charades if you haven't played, right? You get a card and you get to the first time you can say whatever you want to describe the word on the card. And then the second...
Well, not the word itself.
Not the word itself.
You can't say whatever you want.
You can't say whatever you want. But you're not very limited in describing what's on the card.
Time, right?
Yeah. And then the second time, is the second time one word or the second time's acting it out? I think the second time's one word. And then the 3rd round you go around and it's just acting it out, just sheer charades. But keep in mind, you're using the exact same cards. Mm-hmm. So in theory, you should be getting better at this. Also, the deck is self-selected by the players. Everyone gets to choose a certain number of cards. So you are familiar with at least a portion of the cards that are in there when you start. It also means that you're not going to get cards that you don't know or that the references aren't clear to you. So it makes it kind of friendly. It's a really fun game, and it's my number 4. So if I said the same thing 3 ways, then it must have been seriously important. Maybe I'll act it out in charades next round.
My number 3 is Avalon, the fantasy version of The Resistance. It's a game of secret identities, deduction, and deceptions. You were reading right off the box. I thought you were being so smart. You should know better by now. Cheated. It's not cheating. Okay. Just don't put that part in frame. Oh no, it's all going in. Okay. Why Avalon? We sadly don't get to play this that often. Right? No, we haven't in years. Because you need 5 people. I have such fond memories of this game, though. We also got the new version, the Quest, which has different artwork. Do you remember the one game where I had you convinced until the very end that I was Merlin? I was like, letting you know who was good and who was bad the whole time. Yeah. And then you trusted me just completely. And then I was the villain. I won. This is a very strange game to play with your adult family because you realize that they are such good liars. You were a fool. It's unnerving. No, you are a good liar. So part of the reason that I like the Avalon version is that the environment is more our style, right? We're much more likely to want to play a fantasy King Arthur game than... We do love sci-fi, but fantasy has an advantage, a serious advantage. Right, and I love all the kind of auxiliary characters that you get to play when you have enough people, that you get to add in not just good and evil, but also like Merlin and Mordred and
other roles that have you kind of lying on different levels so that, there's not just, you have to figure out not just who's good and who's bad, but who's trying to trick you into thinking the wrong thing without any benefit to them.
Oh, do you remember the first time we played with Dad?
Oh, poor Jim.
We get all the way... I think we were at the last round. We didn't finish yet. And he says, am I supposed to say I'm the bad guy now?
Yes. So I will say that the one downside of this game is that as simple as the concept is to us, because we've played it a lot, I have had a lot of trouble explaining this game to some people who just don't understand the kind of hidden identity.
Oh,
game.
Yeah.
Some people, even after playing, just kind of, it doesn't click with them.
It's a little hard to grok.
It doesn't work with everyone. But when you get a group that's all invested on creating the missions that you're going out on and the quest that you're going to do, it's a really fun game. So that was Billy's number 3. So my number 3 would have been Doodle Dash, but since we only played it once, it's going to be its kind of cousin, Just One. This game is kind of on everybody's party game list this year. Basically, it's Doodle Dash without drawing, but it's a really, really simple game. We actually just played it in our pajamas sitting around the living room on Christmas morning. One person's going to hold up that card with all the words facing away from them and choose a number so we know which word to do. And everyone else is going to write just one word on their little dry erase board. If any of those words are duplicates, they get erased. And otherwise, those are the clues that you get to guess, the word.
Grotto.
Grotto, yes. Grotto will always be the champion word. I think some of the laughing comes when people try to get around using just one word.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So there's some of that, trying to be so creative that the poor person that's guessing has no idea because no one wrote down the obvious answer because they were afraid it would be eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things just have people laughing. Honestly, when I first heard about this game, couldn't imagine that it was going to be as much fun as it was. But I wound up loving this game. It's obviously at number 3, and we've only played it a handful of times. I mean, we've played it a couple of times, but not too much. So that's Just One, and definitely play this one if you haven't. It's kind of available everywhere right now.
It's not on my list.
It's really...
My number 2, which is a surprise to you, we definitely haven't filmed this multiple times, is Wise and Otherwise. I think we went over it pretty well when it was on your honorable mention, because it's not in print anymore, so it's not on your list.
Do your homework.
Would have been nice if you told other people about out-of-print games.
Alright, but why do you like this one? Any specific reason that we didn't mention? Or
I'm really good at lying, and I win a lot.
Okay, so just a little note. Billy's really good at lying. Be careful what you play with her. Alright, so that's your number 2, right? Wise or Otherwise?
Number 2.
My number 2 is also one that we've talked about already. And it comes in this teeny tiny box. And that's Fake Artist Goes to New York. I'm not going to talk too much about it because we covered it, but until recently, this was my number 1 favorite party game. It's just so much fun to try and interpret what everyone else is drawing. Even if you're the real artist, maybe you're not that good at it. People might not know what you were going to draw or might not be thinking the same thing you were. And so they're drawing a completely different clue than you are, even if you're both the real artists. This one is always worth a laugh. You can do it. I mean, you can add as many people as you want to this game, but this tiny little box is just so easy to take anywhere. So Fake Artist Goes to New York is my number 2.
My number 1 is Proof That I Am a Great Liar. It's Just One.
Really?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
It's so fun.
You lied about the list.
Playing it with Grandma Christmas morning was just the best.
Yeah, I mean, this is on everybody's list, I think, this year. And it's just a lot of fun. And it's just so easy. You can teach somebody this game in 2 minutes.
Right, yeah. It's super simple, and it's crazy fun.
And I think one of my favorite parts about this game is when you're holding the card up and you're giving them a number so they know what word to draw, and everybody's face just sinks because they don't have any idea how to give you clues for this word, and you know you're in trouble. And if you're only playing with 4 or 5 people, it's very likely you're only going to get 1 clue or 2 clues, and they're not going to be great. So, yeah, if you haven't played this one, definitely give it a go. Billie's number 1, and she lied about it. My number 1 is not going to be a surprise to anyone who has watched any videos that I have done in the last 6 months or so, and that is MonsDRAWsity.
I'm shocked.
I know.
I never saw it coming.
Definitely no one would have guessed. I also backed the expansion that Shut Up and Sit Down did that's coming out.
Robots.
So we already own the robots.
We do?
We do. And then we backed the Shut Up and Sit Down. I think it's called Unusual Suspects. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, on Kickstarter. The only downside I can see is that when you play it a lot, you do see some of the monsters repeat. But it doesn't seem to matter because the person describing the monsters is always different, and so therefore doing a differently good job of describing them. And you're not going to remember it when you're trying to draw, not usually. Plus, there's expansion packs, and you just need to shuffle up the deck a bit. We play this a lot. I play this whenever we get to play a party game, and I will always recommend this game to anyone that likes drawing games, which, if you've noticed, filled up a great portion of our top 5 party games. I like drawing games, and I am a terrible artist. I happen to play with 2 people who are professional artists, and another one that's in school for art. And guess what? It doesn't matter. The games that we pick, it doesn't always help. So MonsDRAWsity is my number 1. Play it whether you can draw or not. If you like to laugh, give it a go. So that's our top 5 party games. Hopefully you get a chance to play some tonight for New Year's Eve, or whenever you watch this, or whenever you get a chance to play party games. It gets a little harder. I will say that a lot of these games can be played online. So if you can't go see someone in person, I think most of these games can be played in some version online.
MonsDRAWsity has the Roll20 version, and Just One is super simple to do across like a video call or something.
Right, I'm pretty sure if you were creative, you could play almost any of these as long as one person has the game, or you can find one person that has it online.
Well, maybe not Avalon.
No, maybe not Avalon. But maybe if you're creative, who knows? Like, if you find a creative way to play Avalon online, let me know. We'd be happy to hear. We'd be happy to play. Have a great New Year's. We will be back next week, and we will have our top 10 games we played this year. So those lists are going to be vastly different. Billy and I will
very different.
not be agreeing on those. But I hope you watch then. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see,
or if you want to keep watching until we get one right,
please like, subscribe, and share. As always, open tables, open minds, and play your shelves.
Bye!
Happy New Year!
Look at my shiny nails.
I'm going old school. My list is on paper.
Okay, Grandma.
You know what?
Get with the times. The future is now.
Sorry, spaghetti emoji.
Keep doing that.
Is that good?
No.
Why?
We just said the same thing like 3 different ways.
Why do I let you get in?
Well, do you think they don't laugh? Anyone who watches who doesn't laugh, get off our channel.
Okay, that's getting cut. Some grumpy people might watch.